This business of going to heaven with your children and spouse lies with the husband and father, not anyone else. And you must make sure everybody in your household sees God. It has nothing to do with a woman. If God was to ask, why isn't everyone in your family in heaven? He will not ask the wife. He comes to the man. Because that is why you are the foundation. I didn't say you go and start making noise in the house. I didn't say you go home and become a dictator. No. That is not what I said. But it rests solely with the husband or with the man of the house. So raising godly children, therefore, requires godly parents. Did I say something simple but foundational? If we must raise godly children, the parents have got to be what? Godly. They don't become godly by chance. It is very intentional. It is very deliberate. And the parents must be what? Godly. So if we have a society that is unkempt, it is because of the parents that have raised unkempt children. If we have corrupt leaders in government, you don't begin to blame government because government does not raise children. Government does not parent. You blame families, heads of households. There's another quote that is so clear on that. That if anything ever goes wrong in the society, we blame who? The heads of families. I think I should look for that quote and read it to you. If society gets rotten, blame the heads of families. Who are the husbands? Who are the fathers? And so we cannot expect a godly offspring, godly children, when parents are not godly. Godliness has nothing to do with coming to church every Sabbath. No. If that is what you thought. And that is what we have always mistaken when we want to get married. The fact that people are active in church. People sing in the choir. People give tithes and offerings. People can conduct a Bible study. They can preach. You mistake that for spirituality. And you think you have found a man who knows God, a woman who knows God. In marriage, true conversion is a requisite. True conversion. And for you to know I'm truly converted, you also got to be truly converted. And it is true conversion that defines godliness, and that is what will help us raise godly children. Not leadership in the church because you are an elder in the church, now you are godly. The titles don't define our godliness. How close are we to God? Are we walking with God? That would define true godliness. So it will not happen by chance. The way I see we raise our children by chance. There's no effort goes into raising our children. The children that perished during the flood. Let me ask. Let us now imagine, because we were not there. Unless you want to go read Patriarchs and Prophets, it will come out so nicely. Read the chapter on the flood. Who do you think perished in the flood? Now that we had only 8 people in the ark. Who do you think perished in the flood? Did we have men perish? Old and young alike, is it? Women perished? Old and young alike. Did children perish? Including infants. Including children that had just been born. What was their era? Have you ever thought about it? We had children 1 year old, 6 months, 2 months, 1 month. They perished. So what was their era? What did they do to deserve perishing in the flood? What did they do? Walifanya nini? I don't know whether you, hiki tu inawaingia vile inaniingia, ama ni mimi tu inaingia kwangu peke yangu. Very young children who have no idea about faith, but still perished. They did. So what we are saying is children that perished during the flood perished because of the ungodliness of their what? Of their parents. Children of all ages, including infants. And very soon, like we are singing in our theme song, we are going to have a repeat of what happened during the flood. Our children will perish when God will finally have to clean up the earth using fire. Our children will perish because of our ungodliness. Whether they're 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, 1 month old, they will perish because of the parents' ungodliness. So when God says, I want a godly offspring, allow me to do an excerpt that will enable us to search our hearts thoroughly. It's child guidance, the very first pages to the reader. It is the privilege of parents to take their children with them to the gates of the city of God. Who's supposed to take the children to the gates of the city of God? Now talk back to me or I'll go home. Whose duty is it to lead children to the gates of the city of God? Parents. Saying, this is what you will say when you get to the gate. Saying, I have tried to instruct my children to love the Lord, to do His will, and to glorify Him. Tomorrow we will look at what is the age of a child getting to know God. Tomorrow. So don't miss tomorrow. When you will get to the gates of heaven, you should be able to say, I have tried. I have tried. Gidolo is what? As a term. It means it might not be 100%, but you've tried your best that if you're asked to repeat, you'll still do the same thing. I have tried to instruct. Adimos, what is instruction? When you say this is an instructor, what are we saying? What goes into instructing? Huh? Providing direction. Elder Ben, you're sure? This is an instructor. Providing direction. That's one of them. You provide it for 1 day. No. It's continuous. Is it? When you go to the university for a degree, how many years do you take? 4. Depending on your course and your level. Diploma might be 2 years. Certificate might be 1. But for the period you're there, you're under who? Instructors. If you're doing medicine 6 years, you're instructed for how long? For 6. What goes into instructing is not a 1 day's job. So I want you to upige picha wewe na nyumba yako, mali huko. If you are truly instructing your children since you get birth to them, apart from paying rent and their school fees and buying them toys and bicycles and everything, what have you done in terms of instructing them? Then you realize nothing. Why nothing? Because by 5, some of them have left for school. Is it? Even the baby, the PP1, baby class, 5. Particularly Nairobi even 4. The bus has come to pick PP1. Your PP1 is going to school in school bus, Nairobi, at 4 a.m. You will meet. Do they ever meet? They don't meet, because you will come back at 10 yourself. They have slept. You only meet on Sabbath, if you ever have any time. Because you've gone to work the whole day. What time do you have for instructing your children? Sabbath, all of us are here. The teacher does the instruction. Sabbath school teacher. Sunday, we are all over. Busy. Kibuye, Tara cleaning. What time do we have to instruct our children? Because I believe instructing has got to be very organized, is it? Yes, very organized. It's like a syllabus you have. From here, I'm moving to here. Who has that syllabus in their families? That says, Nyaptina Tokoro is within 0 to 1 here. This is how I need to instruct the child. Who has that one? So have we tried? I'm talking to you. Have we tried? Have we tried? I have tried to instruct my children to do what? To love the Lord, to do His will. Kakoro wewe muzazi ndio hata ujui will ya Mungu maisha yako ni gani? Because you cannot know God's will if you have no intimate relationship with Him. You can't. When Israel went to war, they wouldn't go before consulting with God. When they were attacking Jericho, they consulted with God. They did, because Joshua was there. And then after attacking Jericho, there was a small city called Ai. And then they underestimated Ai and did not consult with who? With God. They said, Ai does not need the whole army. Ai just needs a few men, soldiers here. We go and we'll clear. What happened? They were killed terribly with a very small population in Ai. And the Lord said, it is because you did not consult with me. Because that is what it takes to know the will of God. Should I go east? Should I go west? If all of us are operating with our own imagination, this life, we operate with our own imagination. We never get to ask God, should I do this or that? We don't. How are our children supposed to operate based on God's will? They have no idea. Because we are still battling with how do I know God has spoken. We are still not even in baby class. People are still asking, how do I know God has spoken? People are still there. So how are our children supposed to operate based on God's will? Let me tell you how witchcraft works. When you go to see the witch doctor, why do you go to see the witch doctor? First, why do you go to see the witch doctor? Who said the witch doctor? Why do you go to see the witch doctor? You have a problem, is it? You want a way forward. And you believe what the witch doctor will tell you, that is the way out. And will tell you, Sido is the one that is bothering you. And then cause all the problems in your family, sibling rivalry, because you think everybody in the home is killing you. And will tell you, go do 1, 2, 3. You know, you are following clear directions on what you need to do. Why did you go to see the witch doctor? Because you didn't know how to go about. Now, why is it we cannot see God Himself over the same instructions? Why? Why? Why can can't we also consult with God? I'm trying to raise the bar for our spirituality. That what spirituality takes is not just coming to church and imagining I have communed with God. I must be able to hear his voice clear. This is what he has said. So now that you've gone and built a house in Mamboleo, who told you that is where you're supposed to build? This business you're running, who told you that is a business you're supposed to run? I wish you knew the beauty of knowing God's will. The peace you find when you know that the move I'm making this move because God has approved of it. Even if you meet trouble, you know God said what? Move. And you have taught your children to glorify him, to search. The gate will be thrown what? Open. And parents and children will enter in. The next statement will scare you. Says this. The next statement says this. But all cannot enter. Have you heard the sermons that say children are angels? God will see what to do with them. Have you heard people argue like that? Watoto ni malaika. Mungu ataona vile wanaingia mbinguni. I want to unteach you today. When Spirit of Prophecy says, but not all children will do what? Will enter. Some are left outside with their children, whose characters have not been transformed by submission to the will of God. If your child cannot respect and obey you, there's no way they can respect and obey who? God. If your child controls you, there's no way they will have reverence for the Lord. Let me ask you parents, ereka kachopo nyathimi nyuolo itingo kendi mtoto umebeba peke yako wewe ulebeba vile nimebeba hizi tatu. How does it get to a point now I breastfeed, clean, chaff, put on diapers, feed until they walk? At what point does it reach for my child to begin telling me what to do and tells me I lack experience? What is this they call experience? And you also allow it. If we begin to argue with my child, I beat you first, then we begin to argue. I stayed with my siblings. I acted like a mother to them, all of them. Because I was paying their school fees, they were living under my roof. And I realized when they had finished Form 4, people want to come to the house midnight. Umetoka wapi? Tulienda birthday ya rafiki yetu. So day one I said, listen and listen to me carefully. I'm your sister. Yes, elder sister. But there's another thing you need to know. This is my house. You eat my food, you shower with my water. I've taken you to school. You're under my roof. I've no problem with the freedom you want. That freedom demands you own your own house. If you think you're able to own your own house, you will move tomorrow out of my house first thing in the morning. Nyinyi wote? Hata mimi siingi kwa nyumba nimetoka birthday. Saa 4 usiku. Hapana. In fact, there are things that don't need discussion with children. It is final, I have spoken. I know better than you know. Experience, which one do you want me to know? Of knowing QWERTY keys on the keyboard. You mean I was so stupid, I've raised you to that level, you tell me I don't have experience. Which experience do you want me to have? Marital, parenting, which one? Googling? Is that what you call experience? Facebook? At what point does it reach a child begins to control you as a parent? And you allow it, and you say, Nyathini otama. Nyathi tami nade. A Afadhali yao wengine tunasema ni adolescent. Wengine watoto wanawashinda age 2. 2 years, 2. Ati huyu mtoto amenishinda. Kama nyathi gonduru kabisa, ati anakula sana, anataka kukula, na anakula kitu anataka kukula. So your food must be stocked with all types of food and junk the whole month. Upike mtoto anaona katuni, kisha pika umeweka mboga kwa meza, sitaki mboga. Mimi sikuli mboga. Maid ameleta. Kula hiyo mboga, wewe si mama yangu. Aya, mama akikuja, kula hiyo mboga. Sitaki mboga, mimi sikuli. Nataka mayai. Anti mpikie mayai moja hapo. Ukishaleta mayai, sitaki ya nyanya, nataka ile kama chapati. Ati anti chukua hiyo weke kwa fridge, umpatie hiyo inakama kama chapati. Ikikuja chapati, sasa sina appetite ya chapati, ninataka ice cream. By the time this child is 5 years, are you still normal or you've gone cuckoos? A 2-year-old controls you. So how do you raise them in the Lord when they're already controlling you? They ask for your car to go for parties, you give, you fuel. Yeah, you're the ones that fuel. You're the ones that leave the car keys. And they tell you nitajiua. Hakuna mtu mwenye anataka kujiua naambianga watu. Watu wanakufanga tu. That's what you need to know. And I'm talking to my girls. Let no man tell you that if you leave him, he will die. In fact, the day he makes that statement, run very fast. You don't need to hold on to relationships that clearly cannot work. And someone threatens that I will kill myself if you leave me. See, you die. You're not the first one. Die. So you cling to an abusive relationship. Because someone has said, nitajiua. Wacha akufe kama nataka kukufa. So a child cannot tell you, I'll hang myself. They are not the first ones to die. Let me continue being a tough parent, but I think it will help my children. We can't reason. Once I've said, this is the match I have. Even my girl, when she was in boarding, you do me your list of what you want before we go by. And I must analyze it. Analysis means you ask, 2 kgs for what? This quantity for what? Those that work in corporate organizations, at times an employee has a very good idea, but it cannot be bought because the employee lacks the persuasive power. So you sit to present your idea, no one can buy it because you're unable to persuade. Now you're saying we take A. When we ask you why can't we take B, you cannot articulate yourself. And that's how I operate in my house. If you want something, you must tell me why you want it, and does it add value? In fact, they know they cannot come before they create that statement. Where I see there is value that it adds. I mean, it's my house. You operate on my terms, not yours. Because I've known you before I got you out of the womb. I've been carrying you all along. I cannot operate on your terms. You operate on my terms. So if I decide the whole of this week people are eating kienyeji, you will not change it. Udwa chamalot, nyakachigma wiya par Mokoro, one ubeniwa loko diet. You don't tell me what to eat. You know my pocket. You have no idea how much. Yesterday my small girl asked me, one of the twins, asked me, because they had a cake on Sunday for Sokoro's birthday. So Monday they carried it for break. I realized they left some in the fridge. So she went and said, why can't they give us cake? We eat. I said, it's supper time. You've not eaten. You don't eat cake before you eat supper. And supper they did eggs and cabbage and ugali. And they said, atupendi mayai. So I said, there's plenty of mayai kwa keki. Then Dindin said, ya keki ninaweza kula. Then she asked me, ama pesa zako zimereduce? So she's thinking. Those are the exact words she used. 4-year-old. And she's serious. Mami, ama pesa zako zimereduce? I said, yeah, zimereduce. And she changed her face. I said, tutakufa njaa? Hakuna kitu tutakula. I said, yeah, raundi mnakufa njaa. So when I know how much I have, you don't tell me what you eat throughout the week. You don't dictate to me. Nikiamua ni turungi leo, mtakula turungi na njugu karanga. Hakuna mahali utanipeleka. A hand is raised and the words are spoken. You have neglected home duties. Let me ask, do you think we have neglected home duties? Sincere, let's be sincere. Do you think we have neglected home duties? Do you think we have neglected home duties? We have. And I'll teach you tomorrow how we've neglected home duties. The devil taught us that the salary income of one man cannot take care of family. That is what the devil has taught us. The income of the husband cannot take care of our needs. Both of us have to go to work. I'll teach you tomorrow how all these things are deceptive. The devil has taught us one income cannot work. All of us must go to work. And then he has ensured that the foundation is so weak by introducing women to him, drunkenness, irresponsibility. So a woman sits and says, I have a husband who drinks. I don't see his money. Walks around with women. He cannot take care of our children. Will I just sit and see my children suffer? So what is the next thing you do? You go to work. Home duties are left unattended. Someone didn't teach us that when something hits the foundation, we need to go down on our knees and tell God, the provider is down. If you don't do something, then I delegate parenting to you because I have to fend for my children. Someone didn't teach us that there is need to pray for your husband to get a lot of money to take care of you and the children, so that you take care of the children. We were taught, all of us, it's called gender equality, one of the sustainable development goals, that all of us must go to school and go to work. Have you seen the result? Rottenness. We produce children that can't think, can't work, do not even know where they are headed. Why? Both mommy and daddy are out, bolted into the world to chase money. There is no effort that goes into raising our children. And then those children are going to marry each other. Stupid people and godly marrying each other. Tell me the generation they produce. We were taught gender equality and women empowerment. I love a woman. She has a PhD. Started going to work when all her children had finished school. Started going to work when all her children had finished school. Her husband was her business. Her children were her business. If there is any job so important in this world, is what we call home economics. It's a whole industry of its own. You can still own a PhD and stay at home and run an empire from home. Let me ask you, how many of us have master's degree, don't have a job today? What is the unemployment rate in this country? And people have papers. Tell me the truth. Now that we all went to school and there's no job. Tell me, if anything, the people making money here are people that have come out of polytechnics, people that have skill. They went and did masonry. They went and did electronics engineering. They went and did kia. They've done vocational courses that are more of hands-on. So even if they're not employed, every day they must be called somewhere. Come fix for me this socket. Come fix for me this what. They will always come back home with not less than 3,000. Those of us that went to school and have degree certificates, jobless. Jobless. So say natusaidia na nini? I'm not saying you don't go to school, but there's no way you will instruct your children when you're not educated. Go to school, but what I'm saying is, if you have intended to raise a family, your children, you must raise them, and you must decide to take care of your children. Ellen White says this, the book, I think, Christian Service. If it's not Christian Service, it's Gospel Workers. When she's talking to women about gospel ministry. Because it bothered me, and I asked God, but I'm also out here preaching. I don't have time for my children. And I came across that reading. It's a whole chapter dedicated to women in ministry. She says, if it is not a calling, attend to your family. There's a richer field in your family to attend to. You can't just be the one busy everywhere running in this world preaching to people and you ignore your family. But if it is a calling, like for her it was a calling, then God will take care of your children. And all the time she traveled for months, 6 months, her children were left in the hands of neighbors. And the Lord took care. If it is not a calling, you have your home field to run. Run it. Run it. Ya wacho no gik matek. Ano ka wacho ni resign. I've not said you resign from your work. Both of you are still working and you're still lacking. You've taken loans and the two of you are working. You've taken loans. Servicing serious loans, and both of you are working. And the Lord cannot bless us for as long as we want to think we have a way out for ourselves. He will continue to withhold his blessings until the day you realize he's the one that provides. Tuko karibu kumaliza. You have failed to do the work that would have fitted the soul for a home in heaven. We have failed. And we think bringing them to church on Saturday, that's enough. Leave them to Sabbath school, that's enough. Have you ever taken time to go to the Sabbath school class you were taught and listen to what they're doing there? Hata utachukua mtoto yako ukuje ukae nayo kwa kanisa. Because we have a whole curriculum for all those classes. Very few churches run those curriculums for Sabbath school for children. Very rich curriculum. Very few churches run them. In fact, if there's anything we need to invest in the house of God, are classes for children. How many do you have here in Kisumu Central? Elder Ben? No, classes, room. Manyithindo bedenea. This is cradle roll. It starts from 0 to what? To 2 years. No, it's 0 to 2. Then there's 2 to 4. 2 to 4 is cradle. Then there's 4 to 6, 6 to 9 classes. Each class has its own curriculum. And it has its own program, the way it should flow. How many classes do you have here in Kisumu Central? So far, how much money have you made from the guest house? Because it was meant to generate income. Since you built it, how many guests do you receive in a week? If anything, all guests learned that it collapsed. They say it's unsafe for habitation. Why can't we turn it into children's classes? Then we take children of all ages, but you put them in one class from 0 years to 9 in one class. Because apparently there's no teacher to teach. So jumble them up together. What a 9-year-old understands is not what a 0 understands. I've taken care of a 0 to 2 years. It's a very interesting class. It's not a class you bring your baby and drop there. You sit with the baby because they don't even know how to sing those songs. It is the mothers that do it. I sing. Every class has its own lesson study. So if there's nothing our children are getting from Sabbath school, there's nothing they're getting from home. Tell me, what are we raising? What level of godliness are our children in? Remember, for every child you raise, it is someone's husband. They'll become someone's wife. Every child you raise. One day they'll be someone's wife, someone's husband. Are they prepared to take up responsibility? No. And I keep on saying myself, I'm repeating today, if Christ does not come very soon, like I'm thinking, I will handpick spouses for my children. Because I will not spend time raising godly children to meet your lousy son or daughter. I will not. Kama niyo ndoa wacha ifanye nini? Ikae. Wataishi nyumba yangu. Lopok na kuno ngate. Ushasikia hii mchanga imekataa aiziki watu hawajaolewa. Umesikia mahali? Nitazika watoto yangu yote kwa shamba yangu. These are the times you hear your son is dating or your daughter is dating a boy in a particular family. That is the time, friends, you become friends with that family. By force, by fire. They like it or not. Imanya parents go katagine kanes. Give me those siep ni matek. Inemingeyo, you are investigating what is in that family. Most of us got married, not knowing we got married into homes that are actually thorough in witchcraft. Unafika ndio una realize wazazi ni watu wa Nyakalondo. Vitu yao wana sort out na Nyakalondo. Mimi nikijua msichana yangu anakuja kwako. Si nitakuwa mgeni hapo kila siku kushinda hata msichana yangu. Atakujanga by the time anafika na boyfriend yake, mama yake yako kwa hiyo nyumba. I love the way they did it in the olden times. When you knew your daughter is dating in a home, you travel and you go and say nimepotea na giza imeingia, and you sleep in that home and watch how everybody operates in that home that night. Then your mother comes back and says, pale huwezi fanya nini? That's how they used to operate. That's how they used to operate. You do undercover investigations. But do you do undercover investigation? They come from the university with the girl and say, Mommy, we are ready for marriage. Or they come when they are already married. They are cohabiting and they have children. One, by the time they come now, you ask, Mava inyakure. Only to realize, Mava is the daughter to your brother. Because who visits nowadays? Who? When was the last time you saw children to your brother? Do they even know? Do even those cousins know each other? No. The other day we went home, we were burying a nephew. And they didn't know my firstborn, who was that big. So the uncle is asking, is this your mother or you are the mother? Because now we are almost the same size. And they're asking her, ule ni baba yako ama ni brother yako? Because my daughter is an exact copy of the father. So the uncle is asking, am I your uncle or you're also your brother? People just don't know, because it's a polygamous home where I'm married. 3 wives. Everyone has children enough. So cousins don't even know each other. It's possible they meet at the university. And what they feel as attraction was not necessarily love for boy and girl. was actually an attraction because they are attracted by blood. And they go ahead in a relationship, give birth to children. When they come to introduce them at home, you realize is your sister's son. Nyatito Senyuol, what do you do? I will follow you up to the university where you stay. And I will know the boy you're dating long before you bring them home. I told my daughter, I want to see them. Wakikusindikiza kutoka ambassador, wacha wakuje wanisalimie ndio waende. I thought I made a mistake because there's one that keep on capping and I asked, are you dating this boy? And she said, no, but you said wakinisindikiza wafike kwa nyumba wakusalimie. That is what you said the other time. I said, yeah, but why this particular one? Ako form ngapi? Ati ako form 3. Na wewe pia uko form 3. Wacha kusindikiza lakini sisikie iko kitu kati yenu. Hakuna mahali mnapelekana. Hakuna. So one time the father calls me from Somali. I says, there's something we need to discuss. I said, oh, what is it? It's about our girl. What has she done? I said, today she called me. And she said, Daddy, can I speak to you something as a father? And the father said, where is mom? Because me, I'm in Somali. I said, mom is so tough to reason and hard to reason with. Okay, fine, go ahead. Is it wrong to have a boyfriend? The father said, no. Okay, can you spend some few minutes and talk to my boyfriend? Then the father was shocked. I said, which boyfriend? But you said it's not wrong to have a boyfriend. I said, fine, let me talk to him. The boy is there with her. By the time she's consolidated, the boy is there with her. So the boy picked the phone. Kijana unaitwa nani? Naitwa Andrew. Una uhusiano gani na Natalie? Sasa ni beshte yangu tu, beshte aje. Akisema tunaona kama tunaweza kuwa girlfriend na boyfriend. Uko na miaka ngapi? Tiniko form 4. Mano nyarani form 2. Nene form 4. We no near block, next block. Next block. Then our block. The boy is a brother to a boy they were in the same class with. So the father said, those things you're doing, we also did them. Yeah. Now at times you reason like you also went through that. So he told him, those things you're doing, I also did them. But as she told you, I work in Somali. And then she said, yeah. So if you ever mess up my guy, you know who you're dealing with. I don't know whether he wanted to insinuate that he's KDF or not. I'm not sure. But I've not seen that relationship go anywhere. But at least we knew our girl was attempting what? Something. So when the day she'll go to the university, which I would doubt if she will go. She'll go to the university from my house. The extension centers. She'll be operating from my house. I must monitor every move. I must have GPS including at the back of my legs. When you walk, you just know, Mami anaweza go around. I will visit. I took my niece to the Polytechnic in Nairobi, and she thought I was joking. And I showed up and said, I want to see your house. And I'll keep checking. And I said, if I come to Nairobi, and kichwa ikiruka tu, nitakuja kulala hapo. So ukae tu chonjo, I can pop in anytime. Yeah, even God, who's our Father, his eyes are over the world. Sees everybody like this. My eyes must see you everywhere you go. Everywhere. You have failed to do the work that would have fitted the soul for a home in heaven. You cannot enter. The gates are closed to the children because they have not learned to do the will of God. And is it their mistake that they didn't learn? Whose mistake was it? The parent. And parents, unto parents, because they have neglected the responsibilities resting upon them. If there is any job we are called to do, why God set up marriage and family, we have realized purely is to raise what? It means every other business we engage in this world is secondary. If there is anything you must put in 100% effort in terms of time, resources, money, it is what? Raising your children. The elder man the other day was here and I told you, Kika chaka yud kain jakwat maduong, aneno kichake no. I hope my mugik. I'm serious. You cannot be the first elder, year in, year out. What time do you have for your children? What time? Ngat machelo bo chako obile. This thing we rotate. That's why we say everyone must serve in this church. We can't keep on recycling leadership. Leadership means you must pump in time so that you also have time for family. I love the way they sang in Israel. They had a choir for every month, every 2 months, I think. No, every month, a different choir sang. Read it in Chronicles. You sing once in a month, the next time you sing is January. We are in February now. The whole of February, it is choir A. You will sing the next time. Next year, what? Because it requires intensive what? Training. You cannot leave your house at 5. Instead of going home straight, you are in church for choir until 7. When you go back to the house, you attend to nothing. No worship, no nothing. Nothing was planned. Because apparently, you are serving God. And you keep on convincing yourself, if I take care of God's business, He will take care of mine. Let me tell you, right now I'm taking care of His business. He's not attending class for me. We're about to start class. I must go home, start the computer myself, sit, do my quiz tomorrow. God will not do it for me. If I didn't have anybody in the house, I will still go after this place. Make sure I have bathed my children and cooked for them. Parental responsibility can never be delegated, not even to God. You can't, in the name of service to God. I think I've made sense. Jakwat, I've made sense. Because ujek chani me natugo. Ni me natugo chiengche. Kora chaka yudo ku keto e laben kanya. Jakwat madu. Miuru kata teach machielo. Timekeeper. Saba school. Or read Sabbath school, or biogo kengele, Sabbath school. Mondo yue, so that he can have time with his what? His family. Don't get too busy for your loved ones. Don't have time with your loved ones. Light has been shining from the word of God and the testimonies of His Spirit, so that none need err. We have enough light from the word of God and the testimony of His Spirit. Which is the testimony of His Spirit? The spirit of prophecy. And there are many books: Adventist Home, Messages to Young People, Child Guidance. Are you reading them? You're not. God requires parents to bring up their children to know Him and to respect His claims. They are to train their little ones as the younger members of the Lord's family to have beautiful characters and lovely tempers, that they may be fitted to shine in the heavenly courts. I have one girl, the big twin. That one I'm still praying and fasting, because the temper she has is not godly, it's kissy temper. Hey, that is purely kissy temper. And I'm not worried. We'll work it out very soon, like we worked on Mokoro temper. Because once things go wrong for her, whatever she finds close to her, it will be thrown everywhere. Go to the balcony, find dirty shoes in the bucket, empty. ati amekasirika. Jaigangwen amekasirika. Anatupa kila kitu kila mahali. So what I did, I said, listen, once you're done throwing everything, let me know. So she'll throw. And then when she finishes, I say, leta kiboko. Well, spank her thoroughly. Ukilia nitakupega sababu ulitaka kulea. Sasa anza kupanga vitu yangu yote. Vile ulipata. And they must be the way you found them. I'm glad. The kissy tempers come from 100. We are at about 75%. We must work on it. Why? Children are not the same. The 5 I have, I cannot treat them the same because they have different personalities. I have one who's just a Mokoro, the second born. The second born, why didn't you do your homework? That's a question from school. I left my book in the house. So from the house, why didn't you leave your homework? I left the book in the school. So when I call the teacher, it's Natasha's book in school, saying no, she has all the books. So one day, she has not done homework, the weekend is over. She says, alikuja na kitabu yake ni sisi tumechukua, sababu haiko kwa bag yake. So I was sleeping on the seat. Early in the morning, Monday, people are going to school because we have looked for the books, we have not found them. And we are saying, if they are not in this house, because us, we are not in class 3, why would we bother with class 3 books? Maybe you left them in school. So Monday morning, I woke up and Nindotera, here we come, because I was sick, I was not going to work. Then I see her move still like this. And then she goes under the table that is at the wall, it's covered, and pulls the tablecloth, and then takes the book, and then she's looking at me, and then she's going, kashtuka. Hiyo ndio vitabu tulikuwa tunatafuta jana. They don't talk. Kishawashika, they don't talk. Nani aliweka ulijua aje ziko hapo? So Natasha is one girl we have to deal with differently. It's not like Sokoro that comes immediately, sits without asking. He just comes, sits, does homework. When he finishes now, anatoa uniform, anatafuta kitu ya kukula. That is Sokoro. Only that my problem with Sokoro is too adventurous. So the other day, my hair oil was a quarter way. I found it was full. Then Star Soft was also a quarter way. I found it was full. So I'm asking, who bought new Star Soft? Ati Sokoro alimwaga maji. Then I want my hair oil. Na hii kitu mbona kala yake imebadilika. So when I check it like this, water is at the bottom. Ni nani? Ni Sokoro. So I call him. Hizi vitu ulikuwa unaongeza maji kwa nini? Ati isiishe. Then I ask, kwa nini maji? Niliona inaenda kuisha. So I thought it's either in the Sabbath school or in class, they have learned the wedding at Cana when the wine got finished. So I called the teacher and asked, have you taught about the wedding at Cana? I just want to confirm. You don't start beating a child until you understand why they did what they did. Actually, I didn't beat him. So he was experimenting the wedding at Cana. People went out of wine. Christ said, bring water. And they filled, and they had enough water. And teachers, be careful when you teach these things, you know. At times tell them that was a miracle. So if you come to my house, you can never put something in the same place and find it. You can't. So I have to deal with every child differently. And by the time you know their characters, it takes time. It means you have spent time with, but do you have that time? Do you spend time with them? You don't. You don't. So how are you supposed to know them? Those are 5 babies I'm handling. The eldest is in her own world. Quiet one. Decides to speak when she wants. And reasons with you maturely, with big English that even me I don't have. And speaks when she wants. She's always locked in her bedroom because she feels the rest are too young to associate with. So she calls herself ancestor. So she cannot even take photos with the rest. Says if it was watoto siwezi fanya. It's because the rest ni watoto. She's in form 3 going to 4. The second born is in class 3. What business do they have taking photos together? Ambazo vitu za watoto sifanye. Mimi ni ancestor, so we call her ancestor. I have to understand her like that. Deal with it like that. So they're different. I know all of them. Some 3 more coming. I must learn them. Different characters. The teacher will not learn them for me. No. By neglecting their duty and indulging their children in wrong, parents close to them the gates of the city of God. That's painful, is it? When you indulge them in wrong, they do it and you keep quiet. You don't give direction. What you didn't know you're doing is that you are closing the gates of the city for your what? For your children. So it's not just about ni watoto wangu watakuwa tu vizuri huko mbele. Hapana, it's about are they having solid character to inherit the kingdom of God? And the inheritance in heaven is based on your parenting. That's how sad it is. They must arouse and take up their long neglected work. Do you think you need to arise and take up your long neglected work? Yes. If it means losing your job, lose it. If that is what it means. To raise godly children. Our problem is we think we are here on this earth. No. Soon Jesus is coming. And you must take the whole family to heaven. And it is based on your parenting. Because it's the responsibility and privilege that God has put in your hand to raise a godly offspring for Him. He depends on you. There's no way you're going to heaven, your children are remaining. It can't work. You follow them where they go. Sit. You'd rather be like Samuel. Samuel did his best. But the children got to the age where their faith can save them. But they made wrong decisions. Eli was a parent that was indulgent. It is the same Eli that raised Samuel. Eli had 2 sons, Hophni and Phinehas, with an adopted one, Samuel. How come Samuel came out perfect and Hophni and Phinehas did not? It is because he believed he was taking care of God's people. He was busy taking care of God's people at the expense of his own people. Because it was the same man that raised Samuel. Why did Samuel come out perfect? It is sad to note Eli is one of the people that will not see eternal life. Eli, as a parent, we will not meet him in heaven. For parental negligence. Nothing else. Kazi ya kanisa alifanya vizuri. But Spirit of Prophecy says, he does not see heaven because of parental what? Parental negligence. Imagine, na kanisa alifanya kazi tara. Hati sababu watoto wake ali-ignore. That's why we will not meet Eli in heaven. That's why I'm re-echoing. I know you want to serve this church. Before you serve this church, serve the family church first. And make sure they have all gone to heaven. Then you can come back here and serve these other ones. They also are coming from small family churches. They can take care of themselves. Here we meet for fellowship. Every person take care of your family church. It is the first church before we come here. Take care of yours. And that is why I have to block certain Sabbaths for my family. Even if you tell me, Pastor, we'll pray, God will make a way. He will not. I blocked it for my family. I will not come to preach. You like it or not. I have blocked it. I cannot spend all Sabbaths in the year preaching in churches. I do not have the strength and whatever to carry my children everywhere I go preaching. I cannot. They're in school. So I must make sure I have 2 Sabbaths every month for my family. Whether you say you're booking a flight, some people say we'll charter for you a plane. Whether you charter a plane, you charter a jet, I will not come. I've blocked it for family. Sikuji. Ati hii kazi ya Mungu unafanya, usiwache kazi ya Mungu ianguke. Hii kazi haiwezi anguka, sio mimi peke yangu ninahubiri hii dunia yote. Hapana. Kwani watu wangapi wanahubiri hii dunia? Ni mimi tu. Ati mtumishi wa Mungu usiwache kazi ianguke, kia itaanguka. Kama unataka itaanguka, mimi nimesema sikuji. Hata mimi naenda kukaa nisikie vile mtu mwingine anafanya nini. Hata mimi nataka I also need the nourishment. So you cannot be a leader in church. Year in, year out, year in, year out, year in, year out. What time do you have for your family? Leadership in your family has been a problem. And then take up leadership in the church. He who cannot lead in his family should never lead where? In church. Never. Never. So we need to arouse to our parental responsibilities. All of us. All of us. Tomorrow we shall learn why the mother takes the biggest responsibility when it comes to character development. The mother as the first teacher. The home as the first school. Spirit of prophecy advises the proper age for a child to leave the home school and go to the other school is how many years? How many years? By the time you take your child, and say now they are going to nursery school area, it means they are moving from the home school to area. At what age have we been advised? I'm talking to illiterate parents, irresponsible, uninformed. What age does Spirit of Prophecy advise? No. What age? 7? 7? Yes. 7. 7 ekanyadhi walk out. School. I read that thing and I told God, forgive me. Because mine go at 4. 7 years. At home they are learning about God and nature. That's what they learn at home. When you say God created the flower, you must go to where the flower is. This is what God created. It's more of objects. And who's the teacher? Chakanoya. Who's the teacher at home for 7 years? Who's the teacher at home for 7 years? The mother. That is what we call homeschooling. The mother. So when do you go to work? Study. Kid wanyologia dek. To all of them as goes to school at age 7. Where is room to go to work? There's no room. And tomorrow I'll show you until you will hate yourself and you'll blame no one for what your children have become. You will blame no one. It is purely a choice that you made. Because we are all chasing money. And then we get all the money, and when our children are out of hand, the same money cannot help us do it. Solve the problem. Cannot. So we have money, and we have rotten children. The money cannot help us. I am praying. It's a soul-searching moment. That you will make a decision. You will purpose. To purpose means it's both a firm and conscious move. Firm and conscious move you're making. To take up your home duties. This world we are running around, working in and for, will soon pass away. What remains is the life hereafter. Are you ready for it? Are your children ready for it? That is what we're asking. So don't blame anyone. Don't even blame the devil for the waywardness of our children. He has nothing to do with it. You refused to train, he trained for us. Yeah, we refused to train. He's training. We refused to train on sex, the devil has trained. We had a way to teach sex. We have refused to talk about it. The devil has introduced his own syllabus on sex. And has told them, you can be a man, but if you feel like you're not a man, you can actually be a what? A woman. Sexual orientation and gender identity. There's nothing like male, female. You can be both, or you can be queer. The devil is teaching. And there's a lot of funding going to it. I've walked into these places, and I was shocked. Most of these NGOs go by very innocent names. So I asked them, if you are lesbian NGO, why is your NGO not reflecting by name what you do? They say government will not allow us to register. So they can register as women empowerment or something. But what they do is purely advocating for lesbianism. So there's one up here in Milimani, and they're tucked in leafy estates. They're not tucked in Nyalenda, Kiare. They're tucked in leafy estates. So when I visited that one, I said, I'm not going alone. A friend of mine took me. So we went. And then we met a girl boy at the reception. He's a girl, but looks like a boy. I was meeting them for the first time. Then we went to the manager. The manager is it's called what? Bisexual. Bisexual means she sleeps with a man, she sleeps with a woman. I asked, how do you manage both? She says, for example, for 2 months, I'll just feel I want girls. For another 2 months, I'll just feel I don't want to see girls, I want to see what? Boys. So I asked, are you married? Say, yes, I was married, but my marriage didn't work. Why did it work? Someone went and blew it to my husband that I sleep with women. I said, what did you want him to do? I said, no, he needed to understand me. How do I understand you as a man? That for the next 2 months you can't sleep with me because you want to sleep with what? A woman. So how she's maintained her outward look because she's bisexual. And then we were given the finance manager. When she came, hey, she's built like a man. Then she has dreadlocks halfway. So yeah, I'm the finance manager. A girl boy. Then I left that. I went to another one tucked in Tomboya. It's called, I don't know, Western Kenya Women what something. It's called what? Yes. Yeah, that is the name. Yes. Tomboya. I sat with her. And she was introduced to me. I don't go there with my agenda because you have not gone there to change them. You've gone to understand what they do. So she's taking me through what they do. And from where she's seated on her desk, she doesn't look a man. She looks a woman, talks like a woman. Apart from the coat, a manly coat she has hanged on the seat. Then I asked her, but you don't look like a man. Because she's what we call, she's a girl that plays the boy. So that is a top. Bottom is the one that plays a girl. So she's a top. And then I asked her, you don't look like a man, and you play the top. I said, don't worry. So we talked for 2 hours. Then she was seeing us out. When she stood, then I realized she's in trousers. Manly trousers. So the coat was the suit. Tucked in a pull neck. Then she stood like a man. She has a wallet. Okay. Wallet. Wallet. A man goes, let me walk you out. Then she started walking like a man. The shoes she's putting on, had to check them in butter. 7,000. Manly shoes. 7,000. And she says she does not concentrate in town. She's concentrating in the rural areas because she has realized there's a big team in the rural areas. So LGBT has since moved from town to where? To rural areas. There is one meeting, the biggest organizations of all in this country is here in Kisumu. It's called Trans Alliance. It's for transgenders. And I have the history of the boy who runs it. Very innocent, got into it in a very foolish way and has to live like that for the rest of his life. So he says, I'm shy meeting people I don't meet. I don't know. So we are talking on Zoom. Then the person that knows a lady, hey, to we know is so my bed. It's a boy that has transgendered into a girl. He does not put on manly clothes, dresses in women's outfits. Karokilos go siep nani ilungeni Pastor Elizabeth. Angomo duaro. So we begin a conversation with him. And I get some of his photos. You'll be shocked at what the world has become. Sad. The parents have tried to get a woman for him to marry. So one time they brought a woman. Ako na shamba yake, amejenga nyumba yake, because she runs the biggest NGO for LGBT here in Kisumu. So ako na nyumba amejenga, hapo ndio anaishi. So when they got him a girl, he's telling me a story, wakamfungia na yeye kwa nyumba. Ingendi mongisa nyako, parenia, biangisi wardrobe na, are you seeing any man's clothes here? Look at my shoes, look at my clutch bags, look at my handbags. Are you seeing another man here? I'm a woman, come on. Nyako wuk nidhi kelo ne chiemo. No, loro don't know. Pokro yao nyaka wuono. Because she plays the role of a man. Other NGOs in Milimani here that claim have lounges for young people. So young people go there, they're given Wi-Fi, because what they want is what? Access to what? Wi-Fi. In those offices, they have kitchen. Ukichoka na unasikia njaa, you can go and do what? And cook. Tell me your child has closed school for 3 weeks. That is where they access our Wi-Fi. Tell me if in 3 weeks they have not been influenced. Because they are called into meetings. They have advocacy meetings. A sitting is 2,000. So when your child is called to go sit and be taught about this thing is normal, you don't give them pocket money when they're at home. They ask you for money, you don't want to give it to them. So they have these meetings. A friend called at 20 kuna meeting ingine hapa Acacia. They go 3 days, 6,000. Tell me if they have not been brainwashed. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. I was invited in another meeting. 1 day's meeting, 20,000. 5 days, 100K. But I got scared because the next person in the other room, you don't know what time they will knock on your door. Go to Daystar University. Get to the men's toilet. Full with pads, not pads, diapers. A friend of mine works there. If there is a toilet, they empty like you'd empty a woman's toilet pad, is the men's toilet. I asked him, what are diapers for? I said, they don't put on innerwears. They put on what? Adult diapers. Why? Because they have rectal prolapse. Because they're penetrated through the what? The anus. So the rectum is loose. So when you see them sag, they will tell you, we don't sag because we want. We sag because we are sick. They can't put on trousers well. Inafinya na ni uchungu. And they cannot be treated in hospital because they're rejected in hospital. So your son is there earning a lot of money, no anus, rectal prolapse. Akisha pupu, anarudisha na mkono. Ni pupu inatoka peke yake. It cannot be controlled. Sphincter muscles are weak. So inatoka peke yake. So they have to be on adult diapers. For money. For money. Those are the things we deal with out here. And they come and say, Pastor, you're the only one who's bold enough to talk about this thing. I'm a homosexual. I want to come out. How do I go about it? I receive those messages every single day, all over this country. And you look at it and you say, what if it was my child? They seriously need help. They're crying. And they call you every day. So today I've learned it is not a normal phenomenon. It is purely demonic. So when they call me, I ask them, travel to Kisumu if you can for deliverance prayers. It's demonic. And you live with such a boy under your roof and you have no idea. It is here, down here. Hii kanisa yenu muliza hapa chini inaitwa Paulville. When they were in a Bible study in the afternoon like this, and the speakers just said, I'm almost finishing. The speaker just said, today I want us to go out of normal Bible study that we do. If you realized your child was a homosexual, what would you do? Do you know what parents said? People talk carelessly. They say, Bone nyumba yangu niishi na homosexual. Haiwezekani. Kwangu atahama na hiyo siku. Then a young man stood, an ambassador, and said, you don't even know us. You don't. You live with us, but you don't know us. Personally, that is my mother. She has no idea I'm a member of the Illuminati. So the mother learns it for the first time in church. Tell me if you're going with that boy home, because you don't know whether they will sacrifice you in the night or not. And you don't even understand how the dark world works. You've refused to understand what is LGBT. You've refused to understand. When we want to talk about it, you feel it's so dirty that it cannot be discussed in church. So when your child gets into it, you have no idea how to handle it. And the Lord holds you. The worst bit is that the Lord holds you what? Responsible. That is the worst bit. The Lord holds you as a parent responsible for the loss of your child. That is the worst bit. It's not even about the child. It's about you. You refused to instruct on matters, sex and sexuality. You refused. You refused to enforce the sin. There's the fact that there's someone called a man. There's someone called a what? A woman. A woman, this is how the reproductive system looks like. If God wanted them to be man, he would have given them a penis. A man is a man because they have a penis. If God wanted them to be women, he would have had a vagina. So let's get the line clear. The anus is for excretion. You don't penetrate it. Who talks about it? Straight like that. Oh, me, I've made it a point. We talk. And my girls, my children, today are easy with me. They ask me anything. Dindin asked me yesterday. Same yesterday. Kwa nini tumbo yako ni kubwa? I said, iko mtoto ndani. She said, apana. Mama Rock, a neighbor, who's also pregnant. Huyo ndio najua ambeba mtoto. Wewe hujabeba mtoto. Nikamuuliza nimebeba nini? Mbona iko kubwa? Dindin said, yako ni chakula. So I asked her, wewe pia unakolanga? Ndio. Mbona tumbo yako si kubwa kama yangu? Kama unafikiria ni chakula. And then she said, mbona nikienda kwa choo sipupu mtoto? That is what. And we left the discussion at that point. Kwa nini akienda choo yeye apupu mtoto? And we had to have that discussion. I don't hide. I don't have to, I can't dodge it. I have to tell them what it is and how it got there. We have to talk. It's age 4. You must tell them, that baby, how did it go there? Because for her, that is food. How does baby grow there? How? We had to talk. And you can imagine the things we said and the language we used. And I said, that's why Daddy and Mommy sleep on the same bed. When you gigi yote. Anpolo ta dege tuan. Unko kodwa dito dumuru. Nitinda boki puonjna. Apuonjo kend. Because parental responsibility, a delegation of it is an illegality. May the Lord bless us in Jesus' name. I hope you're aroused to take up your home duties. You're aroused to take up your parental responsibilities. Those that are here with their spouses, you're lucky. You can sit and discuss way forward. Those of us that our spouses are still in the dark, we have a long way to begin from. Bring them from the dark first into the light. Then begin to carry from there. But it is all possible. Because what is impossible with man is possible with who? With God. So that guy can go out there, look for food, hunt, provide, as I sit and character build for heaven. Tumesikizana wasichana ndogo ndogo. That's a couple? That's a couple? Elder Ben, Jogi Kendra? Boyfriend, girlfriend? Nene najua hii watoto mbili. They're just youths. You know them. They're dating. One. Our watoto wana date, Esther. You guys are dating? Hakuna kitu? Vile mmekaa hivyo. Wacha. Unaamka usiamke, wewe usiamke. Wewe katu. That is part of the responsibility of the church. These youth groups, ambassadors, they are meant to nurture them into healthy relationships that lead to what? Marriage. But not even elders bother what is in ambassadors. Owene ngane, owene sponsor margi. Sponsor no be show up manaka koroji fundraise for uniform. It's never there. We must nurture them and ensure they get into relationships that lead to where? To marriage. Ukiona wale wanadanganyana waambie kuna mahali naenda, hii nimesema iendi mahali, quit as soon as yesterday. Quit as soon as yesterday. Mungu awabariki. Tusimame kwa wimbo yetu. We'll sing the last stanza. Brother, be faithful. Or we sing the last two stanzas. Hakuna mtu hapa class. Mimi tu ndio naenda class. The last two stanzas. And then we'll pray. Elder, you'll pray for us. Okay? Good. On Sabbath, we'll be here for questions. We cancelled my trip to Nairobi. So we'll be here for all Q&A sessions. So in the afternoon, I'm not handling any topic. Bring all those questions. We talk about them. Are we together? Yes. And next Sabbath, look for a seat that fits your whole family. Okay? If you have 2 children, squeeze within a seat. So I don't want to see Elder Nyatogo at the door. And the wife at the choir. We must learn to sit as what? As families in church. So, jifunze, anza kupractice, leo ni Tuesday. Vile mutaka. Sabato. Anza kupractice. Imagine tu vile itakuwa hii miaka yote sijakaa na bibi yangu sasa Saturday itakaa aje? Anza tu kupractice saa hii tu, anza kupractice. Saa hii leo ukifika Saturday uko chonjo. It will just fit in. It will just fit in on its own. And from then, learn to sit when you come to church with your spouse and your children. We get to avert a lot of temptations. Okay? Yeah. Anyone seeing you knows that's a family. They don't interfere. While a single, don't pose like you're married. We must see you and know how to approach you. Okay? Yeah. Listen. Stanza 3 and 4.
Oh, brother, be faithful, it soon will descend. We sing. Oh, brother, be faithful, it soon will descend. Creation's omnipotent King, while legions of angels his chariot attend, and palm wreaths of victory bring. Oh, brother, be faithful, and soon shalt thou hear thy Savior pronounce the glad word. Well done, faithful servant, thy title is clear, to enter the joy of the Lord. Oh, brother, be faithful, eternity's ease shall tell for thy faithfulness now. When bright smiles of gladness shall scatter thy tears, a coronet gleam on thy brow. Oh, brother, be faithful, the promise is sure, that waits for the faithful and tried, to reign with the ransomed, immortal and pure, and ever with Jesus abide.
We are praying. Our Father in heaven, we thank you very much because you allowed us to be in your house this evening. Thank you for the gift of life. And let me also thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for our sins. We came here to listen to your words and to pray. We have heard your word. Your servant has given us very wonderful messages. May everything that has been said today be a blessing to your people. We have listened to your words from Sunday, and we'll continue throughout the week. It is my prayer that what we are going to hear this week will bring a change to us. As we leave this place, be with us here again tomorrow. Be with us always. Bless your servant who has just served us. Be with us always, and this is my prayer in Jesus' name.